Vice-Admiral Sir Richard Saunders Dundas, KCB, was a Royal Navy officer. As a captain, he took part in the capture of the Bogue forts in January 1841. During the First Opium War, he was appointed to the command of the fleet in the Baltic Sea in succession to Sir Charles Napier in February 1855, and led the naval support during the latter stages of the Crimean War, enforcing a strict blockade and carrying out the bombardment of Sveaborg in August 1855. He was appointed First Naval Lord in the First Palmerston Ministry in November 1857, and then, after stepping down to be Second Naval Lord during the Second Derby Ministry, he stepped up again to become First Naval Lord in the Second Palmerston Ministry in June 1859, remaining in office until his death. The Prime Minister described Dundas as a most distinguished officer. Early career. Born the son of Robert Dundas, 2nd Viscount Melville and Anne Dundas, and educated at Harrow School, Dundas joined the Royal Navy in 1817. After initial training at the Royal Navy College at Portsmouth, he joined the frigate HMS Ganymede in the Mediterranean Fleet. Promoted to lieutenant on 16 June 1821 and to commander on 23 June 1823, he was given command of the sloop HMS Sparrowhawk on the North America and West Indies station in June 1823. Promoted to captain on 17 July 1824, Dundas took command of the 6th-rate HMS Voyage on the North America and West Indies station in September 1825, and then of the 3rd-rate HMS Warspite on the East Indies station in March 1827. He became secretary to his father, who was serving a second term as First Lord of the Admiralty. In 1828, he went on to take command of the 5th-rate HMS Belvedere in the Mediterranean Fleet in November 1830 and the 3rd-rate HMS Melville, flagship of the East Indies station, in September 1837. In HMS Melville he took part in the capture of the Bogue forts in January 1841 during the First Opium War. He was appointed a Companion of the Order of the Bath on 29 June 1841. Dundas returned to the Admiralty as secretary to Lord Haddington, First Lord of the Admiralty, in January 1845 and became captain of the 2nd-rate HMS Powerful in the Mediterranean Fleet in January 1848. Senior Command. Promoted to Rear Admiral on 4 July 1853, Dundas was appointed 3rd Naval Lord in the Aberdeen Ministry in January 1853 and then 2nd Naval Lord in the same ministry in June 1854. He was appointed to the command of the fleet in the Baltic Sea, hoisting his flag in the 1st-rate HMS Duke of Wellington, in succession to Sir Charles Napier in February 1855. Dundas led the naval support during the latter stages of the Crimean War, enforcing a strict blockade and carrying out the bombardment of Sveaborg in August 1855. Dundas was advanced to Knight Commander of the Order of the Bath on 5 February 1856 and became second in command of the Mediterranean Fleet, hoisting his flag in HMS Duke of Wellington, in April 1856. He was also appointed a Grand Officer of the French Legion of Honor on 2 August 1856. Dundas was appointed Second Naval Lord in the First Palmerston Ministry in April 1857 and then First Naval Lord in the same ministry in November 1857. Promoted to Vice-Admiral on 24 February 1858, Dundas stepped down to be Second Naval Lord in the Second Derby Ministry in March 1858. He stepped up again to become First Naval Lord in the Second Palmerston Ministry in June 1859, remaining in office until his death. He died, unmarried, of a heart attack at Spring Gardens in London on 3 June 1861. Later that day, the Prime Minister described Vice-Admiral Dundas as a most distinguished officer who was for 45 years in the service of his country, and who equally distinguished himself in every sphere in which he was called upon to act. He was eminent for the good discipline and order of the ships which he commanded. He was distinguished by the gallantry and good judgment with which he conducted every naval operation in which he was engaged. He was most valuable as a public servant in the direction of naval affairs at the Admiralty. Whether at the Council Board or on the quarter-deck, his merits were equally eminent, and his services were equally valuable to the country. His body was returned to the family home, and he is buried beside his father and grandfather in the Dundas vault in Old Lasswade Kirkyard, close to Melville Castle.